unfamiliar path with a pulse of its own.
3, 2, 1.
Final Encounter Cast. Interesting conflicts, not conflicts of interest.
Typical corporate bullshit.
With your hosts, Nate, Robbie, Chris, Nika, and Callie. FinalEncounterCast.com.
Ready? Get set? Go!
What's up? Welcome to Final Encounter Cast. Thanks for joining us here today. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio starting at 1 p.m. FinalEncounterCast.com. If this is your first time maybe coming across this show on Twitch, you want to check out the 65 other shows that we've done, you can do that over at FinalEncounterCast.com. I want to thank you for joining us today. We've got a bit of a different crew today and welcoming someone back into the mix. But joining me today, of course, is Callie, Chris, and Robbie. Nika is out sick.
Morning sickness.
She had pineapple pizza.
That too.
I'm telling you, it's going around. I don't know what
Pineapples?
it is.
Yeah,
Pineapples. You don't sound very good.
No, so
you don't look very good.
Okay, unrelated.
That's
you're
constant.
a jerk. No, yeah. This morning I went to a memorial for my grandfather in church, and right as the minister said, "Everyone, please stand up," I leaned over and threw up everywhere.
Like all over someone?
All over the back of someone's pew and all over myself. That was great.
Man, P.U.
Ooh.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
You had to. I'm sure you had to excuse yourself after that. And did you help clean up the vomit? At least
I did help clean up the vomit before I left. Yeah, it was great.
Did you use a Bible? Because that would have been rude. You shouldn't have done that.
I'm telling you, the thought did go through my head, but I did opt against that.
I'm almost proud.
I'm sure your family would have been super proud.
They'd have been very thrilled.
On top of the blue hair.
Yeah.
And
So my grandmother, who went out of her way to ask me to be at this, is currently regretting that decision. Sorry, Grandma, if you're listening.
that and several others.
Yes.
Hey. At least you didn't burst into flames.
Yeah. So I'm here for the news today, is the short version of this story.
That's right. He walked into a church and was stricken with the plague. I wonder what that's all about.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad I'm right next to all the equipment for when I get struck down by lightning.
It's the biblical end times. Yay.
AIDS!
Anyway, thanks for joining us. Appreciate having you along. And also joining us, making his return, is Papa Woody.
Look, you can see his legs.
Yeah, you can see him just barely in the back. Hey, there he is.
Welcome back, Pops. We missed you.
What's up, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, I walked in and I'm like, oh, I must be hallucinating. This shit's getting bad. Pops is here.
How you been, man? It's been a while since we've heard from you.
Yeah, I've been here and there.
Yeah.
Well, I've been hearing from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep him under my thumb. I make sure he does all of the work I don't want to do.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, I've still been making him work while he's gone.
Yeah. Hey, no such thing as a free vacation.
Wait, what? Ain't no such thing as a free vacation.
He's being featured on the next postcard from Eorzea, so yeah, he has to earn that.
Goddamn right. There were like some conspiracy theories about what happened to Pops that I had seen going around in the chat room. Just living proof. He's here. He's fine.
He's still alive.
We did not kill him.
Yeah.
He didn't croak.
Anyway.
They're close, but yeah.
I don't like that people accused us of murder.
Yeah, no,
that's rude.
I'm a little uncomfortable
Why
with
would
that.
we have murdered him? Do you guys not remember how distraught we were when we had to start getting our own drinks?
I know.
Yeah, he was
Come
a great
on.
intern.
Exactly.
You don't murder the help.
No. I thought he just got like Alzheimer's and wandered into traffic or something.
Alzheimer's?
All-timers.
Alzheimer's.
I wonder what that disease is like. Alzheimer's.
That sounds like a candy or something, like Spree or Mints or something.
Or some kind of like baseball Superdome or something. And here we are at the Alzheimer's Stadium.
Alzheimer's Arena.
I like Stadium better.
It's a disease where you just remember all of the best parts of your life, but those are the only things that you can remember.
That's like every day.
Alzheimer's.
That's like nothing.
I don't know what kind of charmed life you live.
Wow.
There's only a couple of
You
those moments. That's all I can focus
you
on.
lucky son of a
Like
bitch.
that time he threw up in a church.
Jux is like,
That is overriding most things
Chris
now.
is like, well, I remember the one time I pulled the foil Pikachu card out of a pack. That was pretty good. That was a highlight.
It was all downhill from there.
It was a foil Raichu. Okay,
Wait,
it was a secret rare. It was not in the actual set. Thank you very much.
Was it? Oh, I would say I thought
Dark
you had about the
Raichu.
fat Pikachu. Did you like the fat Pikachu or the skinny Pikachu more?
He should be fat.
Yeah.
Nintendo needs to embrace fat.
Stop body shaming Pikachu, okay?
Yeah,
Can
stop,
we move
Stop
on
pushing
from
your
that?
fat agenda.
Yeah.
The fat agenda.
Fat agenda.
Let me tell you,
That's
the
right.
fat agenda looks awful lot like a menu.
Supersize it.
One that has one too many items on it that have the word rodeo in it.
On Chris's fat menu, you can actually order hot mustard in shot glasses.
That'd be delicious.
All right, I'm going to throw up again if we don't get off of that.
Oh my god! You know, I didn't get a chance to tell the story the week that it happened, but I had actually gotten to witness Detroit police shoot a guy in the middle of the street.
You did.
You know, because you think like your life flashes before your eyes, and you want it to end up being like all of the best things, or like, oh, here's all my regrets. But like most of the time, you're just dead. Like you're just gonna die. Like you're just gonna die in the way that you're gonna die, and there's gonna be no greater meaning to it, right? Like I was nearly shot at in the middle of traffic as I was singing along to a fucking Kesha song. Like,
Wait, you what?
I was.
Can we hear that song right now?
Absolutely not.
Well, wait, what song was it at least?
All the single ladies. All the single ladies.
You don't. God damn it! Never make pop culture references ever. Yes, he's right. That is Beyonce.
They're different.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
They all sound alike to you, don't they?
Anyway,
Well, Kesha's the one with the dollar sign. Does she not do that with like a cent sign for Beyonce over the sea?
No.
I'm curious where you're going to take this. Like, where's this going?
I don't know. I thought I had a place, but I guess there's just like a cliff right here, so I
Dead
can't go
end.
any farther.
No, that's a car crash, sir. That is bodies are strewn on the side of the highway from how bad that car crash was. Oh my god. Can you make even just like a little bit of sense sometimes? That would be helpful.
I could.
Notice how
You
long
had to think about it.
Notice how long we're taking a particularly specifically long time getting into the news. Did you notice that?
I would like to challenge you, Chris, during this episode to make a relevant and correct pop culture reference.
No.
He's not even going to take the challenge.
Remember that there's like a Venn diagram. You can either have relevant, pop, or correct, but you can't have all three. You gotta pick two of them.
Actually, you can. You can have.
You can't
all
have
three.
relevantly
No, I'm
correct
saying
pop.
for me, but you can't have it for
All right,
the juxta diagram is what he's saying.
Just make a correct one then.
a correct what?
Pop culture reference.
So you got correct and pop. It doesn't have to be relevant, but it has to be correct. It has to be
Relevant?
pop.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it doesn't. Yeah,
Oh,
it doesn't
okay.
have to. It doesn't have to. Yeah.
You just have to say something that makes us go, all right. Doesn't have anything to do with it, but fine, we see the connection.
Anyway, so thanks for joining us today.
Well, okay,
Are you
what
wondering
song-
why you did?
No, I was gonna say what song did
I'm
Kesha
wondering
sing?
why you did.
What song did Kesha sing? Or were you singing with Kesha when the guy got shot?
God damn it! I don't even remember. I don't think I could even tell you what the song was. I was just singing along to the fucking radio. My point was going to be that you fucking never know when something like that is going to happen, and what a way to go! Like that would have been the worst possible way. Like again, you want to think that your death is going to have meaning, and 9 times out of 10, it's just going to be like you
Died in traffic.
Yeah, like you're just like it's that split second, and you're like fucking seriously, and that's it. Like you're just done. That's it.
Those are going to be his final words when he dies. Fucking seriously?
Like, think of how many people's last words that must have been.
Look, I know that it's been one of your lifelong dreams that when you at your funeral, you just want people to prop you up in a chair and like just roast you.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that happens for you, buddy.
Yeah, no.
But with actual fire.
No, well, but that's... Thanks for explaining the joke. That's the point. You prop me up on a chair on a funeral pyre, and you roast me with jokes, and then you shoot a flaming arrow at me.
Viking style.
Yeah. You can build a raft if you want, put it out in the river. I don't give a shit.
That's too much. We're just going to throw it in the trash.
We're not building anything.
Just buy a shitty pontoon and send them out.
I mean, you have the river right here.
You think we're going to have your funeral right here?
I don't know. Why not?
Well, we'd have to carry him somewhere else if we don't have it here.
I guess you're right.
Anyway, so thanks for ruining that point, Chris.
Fatty.
Which point were you making? The song about Kesha, right?
Let's check out what's going on in the news.
I'm here to do the news tonight.
And that's the way the news goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you important news.
Here's a story that's out of this world.
Well, the upcoming Uncharted movie has cast its Nathan Drake, and we'll be getting a look at him this July. That's right, Spider-Man's Tom Holland has been cast as a younger Drake in the movie serving as a prequel to the game series. Apparently, it's based off of a sequence in Uncharted 3 where you see him like as he meets his mentor.
As he's young.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably end up being okay. I mean, he's 20 right now, so if he's playing a young Nathan Drake, we don't see this movie for a few years. The actual Uncharted movie comes out, 5-6 years from now? Now he's 26. I'm sure it'll be fine.
And like, what's weird is when you see like Tom Holland in real life, he doesn't look anything like what he looks like when they have him as Peter Parker, where he's just like a nerd.
That's true too.
Yeah, his actual look in like real life is much better.
I still don't know if I see it though.
It makes sense at least picking a younger person. That way, you don't run into the problem that Marvel does, where Robert Downey Jr. is going on 60.
I'm also gonna, I'm also gonna praise the decision that they're bridging the gap between that bit of a flashback sequence that you see in 3 and the rest of the series, instead of trying to continue on the series because they pretty definitively ended the storyline in 4, and that's pretty much all you have to work with, unless you're going to go back and retell the canon. And why would you do that? Why would you do that? I think the Metal Gear Solid movie and this Uncharted movie are two of maybe my only hopes for any kind of video game movie moving forward, ever, because these two seem to have been given more thought than just how are we going to use the IP, or how are we going to use the brand name, and then jacking elements from the shit.
I can see that. Yeah.
I mean, because the Assassin's Creed movie didn't try to work itself into the canon, did it? I don't think it did.
I don't know. I gave it 10 minutes and it was so bad I had to turn it off. I think any other movie, like video game movie, I actually watched start to finish the freaking Dead or Alive movie. But I could not give.
Why?
Because
was it about volleyball?
Tits. That's why.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I mean,
at that point. But yeah, I actually had a friend that I had to. I blocked him and defriended this. He doesn't know this. But the last.
That's petty.
I know. Actually.
No, hold on. It wasn't you idiot. The last status update that I saw that made this happen was, I don't get why the Assassin's Creed movie is getting such hate. It wasn't that bad. They actually paid good tribute to Ezio's story.
Never mind. You were justified.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I'll accept that.
Speaking of movie series that got a definitive ending, Resident Evil. There's nowhere else for that to go, right?
Had a conversation with my roommate about this. Before this announcement, he's like, finally, this is the last one. I goes, no, it's not. He's like, the final chapter is in the actual title. I promise you that it's not going to stop them.
The final chapter was also the name of Friday the 13th Part 4. So
that's true. That is true.
Well, Resident Evil is following suit. There are no characters or even a director confirmed yet, but the studio that owns the franchise has confirmed a new movie in the works that will be a reboot.
Of course.
Ugh.
Did the first series do good?
Yes, actually. Unfortunately,
it made money.
Yeah, money-wise, it did very well.
Let me ask you a question. Because, like RE, the newest Resident, that's RE7, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. I'm just losing numbers. All right.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so RE7 did that. That wasn't a reboot of Resident Evil.
It's in the timeline.
It fits in the canon.
Yeah, it fits as a prequel.
No. It takes place in present day.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So it's in the canon. It is the latest thing to happen.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Because I was going to say, like, if there was, because I only know just the very, very basics of Resident Evil as a series. Like, it was one of those where its flaws were always too great for me to overlook. Going even back to the original PlayStation game, I always had friends that really, really liked Resident Evil, and I would watch them play it, and I got enough of what it was about. But for that same reason, I also missed out on like Silent Hill a little bit because I kind of lumped it into the same category, and I was like, I'm not really into that. But I kind of regret it just because of how much of a long-term storied franchise it's become and how well it's done. I feel like jumping in with something like 7 is gonna end up being really weird. I've had people even try to get me to play 4 and 5, and I still like they're
Don't.
I mean, they're okay.
I mean, 4
games.
was okay.
They're okay. Yeah, they're fine games.
I hated 5. Thor had me play a little bit with him on stream. I did not like that
5
game
is
at all.
just an action game.
Ugh.
I'm fine with it, but I really want to play 7 because there's some really cool game design elements. There's some really cool, like, the execution of that game is excellent.
Yep.
But I think it's that RE branding that prevents me from going, and stepping back. So I don't know.
I would say this, like, it wasn't until the very end of the game that you were even able to piece that this one went into the canon.
Okay.
Well, like, it's like, you're right. It would serve as a modern, like, the next thing in the canon, but like, the connections don't become apparent until the last chapter.
Well, and from my point of view, too, because I was like you, I didn't really play the earlier games a whole lot, and it's mostly because I wasn't into the genre. And even the middle games, which, like I said, I've seen people play 4, I played 5 myself. Not really, I didn't think they were that great of games. And the story itself was just a terrible, convoluted mess. I feel like the reason you play the earlier Resident Evils, or even 7 now, isn't even really for the story, but it's because of the fact that they're one of the few people that I think does that genre right, especially in the earlier days, and now
2.
again with FF7.
I think 2 is. I think
RE7.
RE7.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
I think Resident Evil 2 is really a masterpiece of survival horror. It's one of the better out there. But you have to like that genre.
Yeah, no, well, and that's the thing. So I'm just trying to figure out where the movie franchise thinks that it can get away with a reboot.
Well, I mean, the movie franchise is already completely separate from the canon anyway. Yeah. There's no link.
I know that. I was just trying to figure out what they might even use for source material, what they pull from. I just it's
that's
so
all they want. They just
stupid.
want money.
So stupid. And I mean, they lost the director in Jovovich, right?
And that's unconfirmed whether they're involved or not.
Yeah, well, because
if you lose one, you're probably losing the other. They're married.
They're married, yeah. And I think her contract was up.
Well, plus, if you're going to reboot it, I mean, as much as I would love to see her in more Resident Evil movies, because they happen to be a guilty pleasure of mine, why would you call it a reboot if you're using the same?
Yeah, no, you need new people.
Yeah, you gotta.
I don't know. And Jovovich is only maybe about a quarter of as hot as she used to be. You know what I mean?
She was still pretty hot in the last Resident Evil.
I don't know.
I was still into it.
I would say she's about 33% hot. A little bit more than a quarter.
30. Okay.
I mean, Run Lola Run was a big movie in my teenage years. I had a big crush on Mia Jovovich, and I don't know. It's fallen off. Like, I don't see it anymore. It's too bad.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is officially delayed, according to Rockstar Games. I know. Like its predecessor, the game will be seeing a significant delay, with the developer saying it's to help perfect the game.
Yay!
Redemption 2 is now expected out in spring 2018.
They're delaying it to make it better. Isn't that a good thing?
Are they?
I mean, I would hope that they're delaying it to make it better, not to make it worse.
And I made this point on Checkpoint Radio as well. But you know what? It's really hard to be mad at Rockstar because...
They're like puppies.
Well, no, it's just thanks for stealing literally the line, but
that's because I listen to Checkpoint Radio.
But
you're welcome.
but the point behind that is that, you know what, like, in the end, their decision making is really sound, you know, and like all of their decisions, once you get your hands on the final product, you go, oh, okay, yeah. Like the level of polish, the level of of solidity to the mechanics. These types of things are staples of Rockstar's games and cornerstones of the quality that I think they're really known for.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for me as a fan, and this is, I'm not trying to make light of it or make a joke of it, but me as a fan, it's really hard for me to look at a delay like that and really hold that against them, because it makes it like my initial reaction is like, okay, yeah, they know what they're doing.
Well, that's the thing. Like Rockstar their games are high quality every time. So if they have a game that they're working on that say this isn't up to our usual standards of quality, yeah, delay it, and I'll trust you on that.
Yeah,
totally.
Game delays happen all the time, but what it comes down to is you have to look at the history of the company. Blizzard's another one that if a game gets delayed, no one's really going to be too upset about it because they know in the end you're going to get a quality game.
Right.
Whereas Square Enix says, oh, guys, we're delaying the game again, and we're just like, whatever.
That's the thing,
Whatever.
I knew it was delayed anyway.
Like, the announcements that Square Enix are going to throw out at E3 this year, I am so bracing for just complete and utter disappointment.
Just always add 3 years to whatever Square Enix says, and you'll be fine.
Well, but it does come down to your expectation with the company. If Bethesda comes out and says, we're delaying this game so that it doesn't have as many bugs, I'm going to say, you don't know what not having bugs looks like. Don't tell me that you're going to make that happen, you liars.
Yeah, that's fair.
But could you imagine a game where even Bethesda says, man, that's a lot of bugs? Like, is that game even playable?
That game is not functional. It's not compiling.
So you're talking about Mass Effect Andromeda, then?
That was playable.
Oh, sorry. I had to throw the shade. Had to.
At E3 last year, we got our first look at Days Gone, an open-world action-adventure from Sony Interactive. They've confirmed the game will be at E3 2017 in, quote, a big way.
Kind of excited for this.
I'm interested in this.
Do you guys remember the Days Gone trailer?
Was this the one that had the massive zombie waves that is just like unsettling?
Yes. So we're like, these have to, the one where we thought like this has to be like horde mechanics. Like this they can't all be individuals. So this will be the first we've heard or seen of the game since the PS4 Pro announcement last September.
I'm excited, man.
I'm pumped. If we get some demo time with this, that would be awesome.
It's going to be terrifyingly amazing.
I can't wait. I mean, like
that's the perfect word. Unsettling the way that worked. Yes.
And I mean, we get to go out to E3 this year. I mean, like this is a game that I really want to get hands on with, because the like the tension in that trailer is just amazing. Like it's really, really well executed, and I'm excited to check it out.
Battlefield 1 has a new DLC coming out titled In the Name of the Tsar. The DLC will add the Russian army into the fold, and perhaps most notably, a female scout with the unit, representative of the infamous Women's Battalion of Death in World War I. The unit saw several thousand women serving in the Russian army during the war. This is cool.
Just giving you a little preview of what we can expect in about 5 to 10 years.
Oh.
Womp, womp, womp.
And now we're sad.
Yeah, it's only sad because it's true.
Oh, you mean in real life?
Yeah, I do.
That's kind of like where like doing shows like FEC and LBR get hard sometimes, because like nothing that we can complain about ever stacks up to like what's just going on in the real world. That's like on Tuesday, the new season of House of Cards is coming out, and I'm super excited. But the writers of the show are real mad because they're having troubles writing season 6 because they can't compare to what's going on in the real world.
Oh yeah. There
It's all bad.
When you're questioning objective reality, you know that shit has really gone sideways.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that it's people arguing for shit that they know is a lie. Yeah. And that they just want to perpetuate because it benefits them in some way. And it's disgusting. It's oh yeah. It's so hard. Like I had to for my other job, I had to write about the terrorist attack that happened in Manchester at the Ariana Grande concert. Yeah. And so I had to be really plugged in for like about 4 days to the news cycle. And I'll tell you what, I spent yesterday in my bed just recovering from the amount of depression that was heaped on me between that and the fucking live letter this week for 14. So, like, it really, like,
Sunday used to be the day that we would come and get the salt out, that we weren't getting out in the rest of our week. And ever since this year came about, all of a sudden the rest of the week sucks so much that Sunday just feels like we're heaping on.
Yeah, it really does feel like, what the fuck world are we living in half the time when you look at the headlines? Like, this is fucking crazy.
Well, now that we're all sad.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to bum everyone out.
Niantic is proving to be nothing if not creative in how they handle cheaters in their game. People caught cheating in Pokemon Go are now not having their accounts banned, but instead are finding themselves unable to view rare Pokemon. The quote-unquote shadow bans are being enacted on players caught using third-party tools and modified versions of the game.
This is amazing.
Yeah, you can still play, but you can only see Pidgeys, Rattatas, Nidorans, Dunsparce.
This is so... Niantic is really getting clever.
What's cool about this is they don't show up on your map, but you can still see rare spawns on your nearby, so they know they're there.
They're just...
They cannot get them,
You just can't access them. That's so fucking funny!
They do still show up on nearby?
They do, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Because people have like shown where like they'll get like a friend's phone, right?
Right.
And it'll show both their nearbys, and one of them will show like a blacked out version. The other person will show that it's actually there.
No.
And then when they show the actual map, it's up on one person. The guy's in the same spot and cannot see it.
Yeah.
So it's like they're just teasing them with it. It's brilliant.
It's so funny. I love this.
That's kind of like creative thinking for how to like punish people who are caught cheating. I love it. Like,
is the shadow ban temporary or just straight up just like, all right, this is you forever now?
I believe it's temporary.
I think it's temporary.
I think it's a 3-week ban.
I think
they should call it the youngster ban.
But by the way, and
you can use youngster Pokemon.
I think that is only that's only enacted, like that's an additional punishment after you get the warning screen if you're using some kind of third-party software on that same device.
That little screen that it just says like, "Hey, we've detected something's weird about your thing. Stop it.
Hey, we know you're doing something wrong, so stop." And it's
exactly.
like, no, I'm not going to keep doing that.
Right.
Well, enjoy your Pidgeys.
That's the next step. Is that exactly? Enjoy the fucking Rattata.
You get to do the Pokemon Go rap all over again. I love it. In addition, Niantic made a move this week to remove a gym from a naval park, and after park authorities expressed concern about people's behavior while there. In addition, the Pokestops in the park are now inactive when the park is closed to the public, encouraging trainers to stop staying past park hours.
Okay, so did they just adjust the hours, or did they remove it?
The gym is gone.
Oh, the gym is gone.
The
Gotcha.
stops are only active during the park's open hours.
We've had stuff like this pop up before. It was in Missouri?
I thought, or Wisconsin or something.
Yeah.
Some of that.
Some stupid state.
Some state that eats a lot of cheese.
Yeah. They had brought up something like this.
What other state besides Wisconsin eats a lot of cheese?
I mean,
Michigan. Michigan eats a lot of cheese.
Yeah, I mean, really, everyone in
America,
in the Midwest, the Midwest specifically. I mean, you've got to have.
I feel like we're notable for eating cheese.
You've got to have the extra insulation when you have, negative 20-degree winters.
I think what it is we eat a lot of cheese, but because we're next to Wisconsin, they kind of like take all of that infamy, you know.
Yeah.
So we kind of like get off.
The South eats deep fried mayonnaise.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You get off on eating
But yeah, no, I think it was in Minnesota maybe that originally brought up this idea of, these digital spaces and stuff like that.
This is, I think that this is a creative solution to the problem because, Niantic has been inundated with requests to either remove Pokestops or remove gyms from specific places, and there have been some concessions. They've removed certain Pokestops and gyms from, say, cemeteries. I think that's pretty fair.
This being a military park, like this is
there's
a degree of respect that you're supposed to have while there.
And that's the thing is that when you heard about the way that some of the people were treating the park and the root of the complaint, it actually I think starts to become a little bit more justified.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like I can actually see like because most of the time you when you see something like this you reflexively go fuck these guys, they just they don't why would they
to bring coolers to a park,
right.
Oh my god.
But the thing is that and I have one of these that's pretty close to me in a public public park. Like I live very close to Belle Isle, which is an island, and the entire island is a park. And they shut down the island at 9 o'clock. The state police come onto the island. They kick everyone off, and then they patrol the island for like 2 hours afterwards to make sure that everyone is off the island. And some of the best Pokestop hunting for Gen 1 that I ever did was there, because it's got 4 Pokestops clustered, and there was pretty much, and it was at something kind of similar. It was a naval museum, but I don't think it was run by anyone but the state, right? Like it wasn't. It was state run. It wasn't like in a military facility or anything like that, but it was a small naval park, and they had these 4 stops that were clustered right together. And as soon as the employees left, like 6-7 o'clock, you had from that time until about 9, when the cops would show up and kick everyone off, to lure up and just go ham. And there was some great shit that would pop over there. And the thing is that I hung out there 4 or 5 times, but I would actually see and it's not just disrespect. I just think that it's laziness or entitlement, or just people just not fucking cleaning up after themselves and being inconsiderate. That's what I think it is. I think it's
well, and regardless of where you are, that's rude and inconsiderate and disrespectful.
Right. I think it's less like, oh, fuck this park, and more just like, they're just thinking about themselves and being inconsiderate and just being the normal,
being human trash.
Yeah,
and playing with their fidget spinners,
being the ugly Americans that they are, and fucking playing with fidget spinners and vaping and putting on their trilbies and whatever it is,
having fedoras.
Yeah, but I don't disagree that like some of the people who are into this, especially now, like since the mainstream has really fallen off on Pokemon Go, like.
Some people left suck.
Oh my God. There was one time I went to, now the other place that I go is the GM Rensen, and I'm looking around at the other people who I know are playing Pokemon, and I'm like,
You're like those people.
Yeah, I'm gonna go sit at the bar and minimize my exposure to these people and their exposure to me. Yeah, exactly. And I don't look like as much of a clown as they are. You don't hatch eggs as regularly as they do, but fuck it, you don't look like a human pile of trash. The thing is the demographic of it now is almost embarrassing, right? Like, dude, when that first couple of weeks,
everybody was playing.
People were getting laid from Pokemon Go just because
it was a glorious time.
Check out my Pidgeot.
And I'm not gonna credit Pokemon Go with anything except getting people the fuck out of their house and talking to one another. That's it. And just by virtue of that, they were like, "Oh yeah, we have parts that we can put together," and
the penis does go in the vagina.
Can I be your ditto?
Oh, gross. Anyway, but yeah, no, like, and
let me onyx your cloister.
Squirtle on your Jigglypuffs.
Oh,
you guys practiced these, didn't you?
You don't need to practice.
That last one has worked for me before. Thank you very much.
Bullshit.
Yep, has.
Only if you were actually banging the person beforehand. That doesn't count.
Nope.
You went up to a girl and said, "Can I Squirtle on your Jigglypuffs?"
Did not go up to her. It was on Tinder. It worked.
I still don't believe it.
I still live with my parents.
Pokemon pickup lines on Tinder are like, that's like you're playing with fire on that one, because you're
playing with fire on Tinder regardless.
No, but I mean you've got like an 80% rate of where like a woman's going to see that and her vagina is immediately going to dry up.
Well, to be fair, I'm pretty sure that they had something Pokemon related in their bio, so I knew there's a fair chance.
Even if they're a video game fan, like that can be a deal breaker. Mentioning that you're a Final Fantasy fan can be a fucking deal breaker. I've had people ghost on me after they like trying to explain what the show is. They've asked me, "Oh, like what's your show about?" I've now learned to just say video games, and not specify that I host a Final Fantasy show.
Internationally syndicated.
Final Fantasy. I bet that's one of those hentai things.
Either that, or they actually know something about the fucking games, and that's embarrassing enough. I mean, Jesus.
Which is worse, yeah.
But I mean, like making a Pokemon reference, man, that's ballsy.
Especially one that involves the word squirt. Ugh.
Okay, no, because in Robbie's case, he doesn't care who he nets. In fact, he's just weeding out the people he doesn't want to associate with. He wants to have all the super crazy, geeky, weirdo girls that are into Pokemon. So,
except they all end up being super crazy more than anything else. So.
Well, that's because you're talking to 30-year-olds that are still, like, putting Pokemon into their fucking dating profiles. Like, don't do that.
No, she was 22.
Still, though, if that's what you're leading
Daddy
with.
issues.
Yeah, she did.
All right.
You can predict this kind of stuff. You're really only bringing it on yourself.
Well, now you have gonorrhea.
There are ways to minimize this shit.
Hey, that's the fire right there.
Like getting off Tinder.
That, yeah.
I honestly have no regrets about that one, but there are other ones that.
Still burns when you pee?
No, I never got anything from any of them.
Okay.
I dodged a bullet once though.
Whew. Yeah?
Yeah. It's a story for another time.
Okay.
Shameful.
A blind gamer in Japan has always had his gaming options limited, but one game available to the 5th grader has been the Rhythm Tengoku series. He's mastered every one of them and decided to write Nintendo a letter requesting more games in the series and preferably more difficult ones. To their credit, Nintendo responded, thanking him and promising to send the request along to development. The letter they sent back was in Braille.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought that was nice.
That's cute. Nintendo's really good about doing, like, kind of cutesy audience outreach like that, and they're really, I feel like this is not the first story that I've heard where Nintendo has gone out of their way to respond to or be cool to one of their big fans.
Well, they have to do something to cover up all the 3DS bans that they've been issuing.
Aww.
What is that for, by the way? What is that? I saw something
for modding your shit.
Tons of modders got just completely smashed. The entire community now is like holy shit.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Wait. We're talking about home brewing like a custom OS on there, right? Like that's sort of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And do I have this right that they used to be able to
Wait, how is this not in our news?
Yeah, how is this not in our news?
Good question.
I feel like we overlooked this one big time. But is it that they were able to homebrew their custom OS onto the system and still connect via Wi-Fi to things like the Nintendo shop and purchase stuff?
Well, for one,
is that
just seems like a terrible idea, because if you think that Nintendo's not going to catch you for that, that's your own fault.
Exactly.
At that point.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't catch him until now, I guess.
Well, no, but I mean, how could you not think that the other shoe was going to fucking drop on that one, if that's the case? I don't know. I'm speculating because I don't know that much about this story.
But I feel like that's almost the same thing that we all knew, like when we had Poker Radar and things like that. You knew eventually that was going to go away, right? When you use things like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why do you think that I got as much use out of that as I could? I was like, oh, that's not sticking around.
No, that's going to be gone. And I'm going to use all I can.
It was specifically people that were hacking 3DSs. Says that the 3DS hacking communities are clamoring over a so-called ban wave that permanently knocks systems offline.
Yeah, and again, this is injecting homebrew stuff, but my question is and again, and I saw this as a response to you connect it to the Wi-Fi and then the ban happens. But my question is so my understanding or my feeling is that, or the way that I said it in my head or have always kind of thought of it is that, okay, if I'm going to homebrew something on the system, the Wi-Fi capabilities are just done.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to connect it to any of the official, marketplaces or, use any, why would you think that you could hack your PSP and then use PSN?
Well,
why would you think that
wouldn't. In this case, it also
but
says...
these are Nintendo fans.
But again, it says that they haven't been able to pinpoint a specific commonality between all the banned users, but most people admit to having downloaded some type of firmware to their system, whether that's emulators, dumping game cartridges,
like that. You just got to know if you're going to do something like that, you're putting your account on the line.
How is it? No, but this actually leads to the actual question that I have. How did it take Nintendo this fucking long? And how did Nintendo, how is Nintendo's structure so bad that it let systems with homebrewed OSs connect to official Nintendo shit.
And plus, even with this, it's saying that the banned users can still use their systems. They just can't play online or use services.
But I thought that's what you would have to do if you homebrewed in the first place. I don't understand. Somebody fucking explain this shit to me.
I remember a news story that we covered about, like, maybe that was last year or 6 months ago, where they were hiring on developers for the 3DS, and we were wondering, like, why are they hiring developers for 3DS?
No.
Could it have been for something like this?
Remember the fucking reward that they had put out? Hack the 3DS, and we're gonna give you money for this.
I'll bet you it's related.
I bet you that it will.
Maybe they just didn't have a particular way to accurately track people or confirm it, and maybe now they do.
Here's the thing: Nintendo sucks at being online. We are still in the glorious age of 2017, where we have fucking different IDs for the Switch, the Wii U, the 3DS.
Oh my God,
the Wii.
he is right.
I can see it now.
Until the Switch, we still had friend codes.
I can see it now.
Okay?
Nintendo's like
16-digit numbers.
Nintendo probably saw that people were like hacking using firmware, and one of them's like, how are they doing that? I don't know. How do we stop them? I don't know. Let's hire the hackers. They'll figure it out.
No honor amongst thieves, I'll tell you what.
They then banned those hackers as well.
Nintendo can't be that incompetent, can they?
Yes.
Have you seen Smash Brothers netcode?
Yes, they can.
Really? I mean, like,
Smash Brothers netcode is so bad that the person who has the shitty internet connection experiences no lag, and the people who have good internet have lag because they're too fast, so they slow down to the shitty person's connection.
I like Morgan Freeman's comment here in the chat. What if only people banned were people who entered the hack contest? And it's not even a hack. Like, Nintendo just registered them as a part of the contest and then was like, summarily ban them. Like, just
literally put a box out with some cheese in it and then just like stood there with the box, like waiting to catch them.
You know, you guys should have known that this was a false flag. I mean, come on. You're just stupid at that point. No, this is insane. Like, this is totally crazy that even happened. We really need to get all of the information on this, and I think we should double back around on this on
definitely
on Checkpoint for sure.
Last week,
blind kids, good job.
Yeah, I'm not going back to the other blind kid story now, so it's kind of weird. Last week, the Atlanta Braves found themselves waiting out a 3-hour rain delay for their game against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So their solution, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tournament among the team. Reports from the locker room say Nick Markakis on Princess Peach is freaking unstoppable. So
how much money do you think Nintendo paid them to do that?
Ooh.
How much money would, because that's
$30
to me. That's, well, I mean, I would think that Nintendo probably gave them the Switch.
Gave them the Switch and the games for the clubhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm probably willing to bet not too much money actually exchange hands. It's probably more merch. We'll deck out your locker room.
Yeah,
or something
do a
like that.
trade.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, these locker rooms have this shit anyways.
Yeah, usually.
They're all decked out.
The Pokemon Company has released a new game on mobile called Magikarp Jump. The game is about as simple as it sounds, with a player fishing up a Magikarp and training it to be the best jumper it can be. They then take it to a competition and test it out. Not quite so complex as Pogo, but hey, who doesn't love Magikarp?
What the fuck is this?
Your Magikarp can die.
Don't fucking jump.
Well, they do
splash.
in Japan.
No, they splash.
No, they jump.
No, they hop in Japan.
Oh, is it called hop? Really?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was called
That's
jump.
why Hop Pip knows splash.
In this game,
so does Jumpluff.
A Pidgey can actually come down and grab your Magikarp and fly off with it.
Good.
That's awesome.
That's kind of funny, actually.
Can you get a shiny Magikarp and have it stolen by a Pidgey?
He jumped too close to the sun.
I thought they don't jump.
Now, if I could
these ones do. I'm saying Nintendo fucked up.
Now, if I could take the Magikarp that I just caught in Pokemon Go, take it to Magikarp Jump, train it up, and bring it back over with a bunch of candies, there you go.
That'd be great. Well, the game is on Android and iOS.
Come
Why
on.
not?
Seriously, though, Pokemon is really, like, as a franchise, is bizarrely good about that. Like, it's weird. it's weird how many of those like little things that they end up injecting into like you can even the side Pokemon games like Mystery Dungeon and shit like that. You can usually get something that you end up using in Pokemon proper out of it.
They have those promo codes now in Pokemon Go. What if you can get get a sweet Magikarp in Magikarp Jump? You get a promo code. That'd be cool.
Who uses Magikarp anymore?
Who doesn't use Magikarp? You don't?
No.
You don't use Gyarados in your gym battles?
No.
Why not?
Because he's just too old hat at this point. I've been buying that Magikarp from that guy in the Poke Center for 500 Poke Dollars for 20 years now.
You're one of those guys that uses like Gliscor with a poison orb, aren't you?
Well, I would. Or Breloom with
this is a new strategy, by the way, I'm seeing in X and Y now. Gliscor with a poison orb, and then all they use is substitute and protect.
Oh,
they rotate
Jesus.
off, and because they have poison heal on them, because it's a Gliscor,
right.
They heal up, and you can't do shit about it. It's so annoying.
How do you outshuck him then?
You gotta use Smackdown.
No, what happened is I got into a match where I had my Shuckle and he had his Gliscor left, and I couldn't Toxic his Gliscor because it was already poisoned, so we just waited until we only had Struggle left, and I won on that.
If you can
wow.
28 minutes.
If you can outspeed him and then use something like Thief, you can...
Thief or Switcheroo or Trick.
Yep.
Don't Protect and Substitute always go first?
No. Well, Protect always goes first. But, I mean...
Substitute doesn't? I thought they both always go first.
Not Substitute.
Not Substitute,
Okay.
definitely not
unless they, of course, unless they're a prankster Pokemon, but...
Well, of course.
You fucking nerds.
The FEC motto is...
Also, did anyone hear that Smogon has officially banned Baton Pass?
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the reasoning for that?
It's probably warping the metagame.
Interesting.
Baton Pass is still that broken even after they went and adjusted it for Sun and Moon?
For Smogon, they had like this weird rule where you could still Baton Pass, but you could not Baton Pass a stat up that included a speed with it. Or
that's specific.
Yeah, like you could Baton Pass a speed, but nothing else, or anything else, but not with a speed.
Oh man, that breaks Eevee then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Eevee's done.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Yeah, it was gone. That is really, really weird. I had someone trying to Baton Pass me the other day. They dropped their Blaziken, and I'm like, oh, here we go with this. So here comes Four Swords Dance, and then a speed boost too. So I used Encore on Shuckle after I Toxiced it. I'm like, enjoy your 5 turns of Swords Dance, and he died from poison and then forfeited.
Why would you not switch out after that?
He did 1 Swords Dance on the same turn that I Toxiced, and then he the second turn I encored on his second Swords Dance, and he just let it go until it died. I thought he figured he was going to survive with very low HP because the Encore was going to end the turn that it died.
Right.
But no, he died. Anyway, the final Encountercast motto is and always has been any excuse to talk about porn.
Yeah, that's
so here we are again.
Talk about Pokemon.
Or porn.
I guess, well, they both start with P.O. So
they do.
It makes sense.
They're very similar.
Okay, fair enough.
Denora Hernandez, owner of the company VR Cosplay X, is creating virtual reality porn themed around different geek fandoms. From Harry Potter to Overwatch, she interviews actresses to ensure they have a working knowledge of the fandom they're covering, and if not, provides them with the materials to learn. We'll let you know whether the videos have any quality after exhaustive research.
Very exhausting.
On that note, we do need to make a withdrawal from our fund because we need to buy some videos.
Now you know where I've been.
There's the question to that.
It's a growing thing, man, because like I know Cosplay Deviants has been out there for a while. And that has slowly kind of evolved from sort of like nude pinup shoots to now
videos.
Yeah, they're definitely in porn.
Yeah,
for sure. They're making porn now. Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean like
and VR especially, dude, like the first thing we said when we saw like the PS4 Pro and the Oculus and all that is like porn. It's going to be for porn.
Look, I'm just gonna. That's not the worst. I don't think that's the worst thing. Like cosplay porn is actually pretty awesome. I think.
Yeah. Thumbs up.
I'm down with it, man.
Hell yeah. If it's good cosplay. I mean, I don't want it to be shitty.
I don't really love the idea.
Look, the fact that the person who's like in charge of all this is actually interviewing the actresses and like
that I like.
Making sure they have it working out. It's like they're adding a little touch to it.
Except, did you catch the part in there where she's like, well, but if they're not, we get them up to speed. And that's like, yeah, but okay.
Well, it's better than just throwing someone, into a cosplay and being like, all right, go at it.
Yeah, I think, and the problem is if you're going after...
Do you need much more of a premise than that?
Well, no, you don't.
But if you're going after porn actresses, I'm imagining, like, not a ton of them are going to be into the super geeky fandoms. You probably have to make some concessions.
I don't know. I would think that more and more are. But but you know what? Here's the thing, though, is that, like, how exactly do you end up addressing a character like Asuka Langley Soryu? Like, that's...
You say it's 4 years after the events of Evangelion.
No, it's because the thing is you read her character profile and, like, psychologically damaged and, like, these are all things that you do not need. Sexual trauma. You don't need to work that into the porn version of the character.
Like,
I thought your concern was that she was 14. I'm sorry.
An actress looks at that and goes, all right, yeah, I got this down.
It very much
just be myself.
Is like a part of the tapestry of the character, but really immaterial when you're looking to jack it, right? Like, that's just not...
Well, Shinji thought so.
God damn it, I walked right into that one. I walked right into that one.
Can you weeb stop for a second?
Probably not. I mean, it's Evangelion. No. Anyway.
This is about video game porn, okay? Right?
It's all going to be
Harry Potter in there too.
Cosplay porn.
It's geek fandom.
Yeah, it's gonna run the gamut.
Counts. Yeah, it'll be everything.
Oh yeah.
An Overwatch player by the name of Glissa decided to allow others to listen in on some of the harassment she receives regularly while playing Overwatch. The result is a 16-minute YouTube video chock full of some of the most vile garbage you can imagine. And I think we're gonna take a look at some of this, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I do it, dude. We don't need to actually watch because it's just the Overwatch
you don't
gameplay.
need the sound. Yeah.
You only really need to hear this, but.
Think I need your healing? Get out of here. Oh, savage. You nerd.
You nerd.
So vile.
Yeah.
Much viality.
Fertility.
Yo, I need healing. Come on, Mercy, you're not doing your job.
Fuck you, dude.
Heal your top character.
I thought you didn't want to.
I was gonna say he literally just said,
I won't call you ugly again.
You can tell this dude has never felt the touch of a woman in any possible way, shape, or form.
Never.
I won't call you ugly again.
I swear to God, I won't call you ugly anymore. I got healing from you. You're ugly.
Jesus.
You're probably ugly.
There it is.
Probably ugly.
I just get it. Oh my God. Oh my God. You ever interact with something so painfully stupid that you're like, I know where this is going to go, and then you call it, and that's exactly where it goes?
You realize we do a show with Juxta every single week. Fuck you.
You can't predict what I'm going to do, stupid.
That's like two Genjis like deflecting each other right there.
I like how this Mercy's trying to heal me because she wants me.
Oh my God.
Oh my
God.
Jesus.
I like how this Mercy is trying to heal me because she wants me.
She's trying to keep my D intact.
What a fucking idiot.
Jump further into the video. Let's see if it gets worse.
I just want to... I mean, like, this is fair. This
is fairly tame.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Like, I've actually sat before, unfortunately, because it's like watching a car crash and just watched videos like this with a vile toxicity. Yeah. And I've seen some really fucking bad ones. Like, they are a dime a dozen.
Yeah. And this is, I would say that this is fairly normal. Average shit talking.
God, they can't even push past the choke point. What are you doing, Ryan?
Obviously nothing.
Just stand in the choke.
Like, he pushes through it, then backs off.
360.
This is, I mean, they're actually kind of, like, there's lulls here.
Yeah.
I expected this to be way worse.
Well, that's why it usually gets worse, like, further in they go, especially if she decides to try and, like, fight, like, talk back at any point. Like, you know that's going to get...
Yeah, she hasn't said anything, so... At least not that we know.
Yo, call me a fish, because my name's Fish Boy. Let's go.
What?
Well, put my 30 seconds clip.
Stop it. Dumb shit. Again, like none of that terribly sexist.
No, nothing particularly.
I mean, outside of like, oh, he want look at him, she wants me.
Call me fish boy.
What does that even mean?
He's a Magikarp, man.
He's playing Magikarp Jump.
Magikarp main.
I'm a Genji main.
Never mind, that's even worse.
Oh.
See? Magikarp, Genji, jumping.
They flop around.
This is.
I mean,
So
nothing.
far,
Yeah, nothing.
So far, so good.
I mean, I kind of feel like it's a little bit of an overreaction right now.
Right now, yeah, like all this probably could have been cut out. Like I would have just got right into like the whatever the toxic stuff.
No, I mean,
is.
I think.
guys, I played Widowmaker before the Fire Nation attacked. I was there.
That makes no sense, but just shows that you're the stupid fucking weeb.
Yeah, can I? Yeah,
Christ.
Fucking.
I mean, come on, you look ridiculous.
I played Widow before the Fire Nation attack. I'm not really up to date on my. That's Avatar, right?
Yeah, Airbender.
Okay, yeah, references. So how does that
There's
have
nothing,
any relevance?
Oh my god.
There was absolutely no sniperish type thing ever. So.
All right.
This is the fucking dumbest. I mean, like, But the problem is that this does expose the regular stupidity that you're met with when you play online.
Oh yeah.
You know, I was wondering where all these people who used to play League went. Good to know.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. You know,
What rank are these people playing at?
No idea. Probably.
I like Americans because they're good at raping people.
Whoa!
There it is.
Huh.
Whoa! What did he just say? He likes Americans because they're good at raping people?
That's exactly what I heard.
I'm glad I took all those child grabbing classes.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. All right. Let's back this up because we were talking a little bit. Right. All right.
Yeah, and we were, you know.
Let's just make sure that we've got the proper context here.
When terrorists started to kill people in the United States of America.
I like America because they don't deal with terrorists.
I like Americans because they're good at raping people.
Holy shit, dude!
Okay. All right. This isn't that's
socially awkward.
That's not shit talk. That's
like
wow.
like something systemically wrong with that guy.
That
with
was
all of
fucked.
them.
The United States of America. Raping since
I get, dude.
The 1800s.
I get that, like, ironic ignorance can be funny. I mean,
yeah.
Hell,
I don't think that's ironic.
I engage in it more than maybe people realize how much it's meant to be ironic. But like, wow. I am uncomfortable by that.
Yeah, that was bad. I mean, that wasn't
a joke. That wasn't a punchline. That dude was just sharing a thought that he has.
Yeah, like
an opinion that he holds. Yeah.
That wasn't just specifically harassment against our person making the video. That was harassment against anyone whose ears had to be subjected to that.
Holy,
you're welcome.
Fucking Christ, man.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it just shows you the caliber of people that you're dealing with here. You know,
Genji mains, man.
Nihilist in the chat can't even talk coherently. I feel dumber having listened to that.
Marcus Kyler just found out why Trump won.
Let's see what else they have to say.
If you ever need some Americans, you just go and rape someone. Pretty easy.
Stop it!
Your mom's probably a waffle. Shut up.
What?
It occurs to me just now, it might be that she may not have been recording her outbound sound. If we can't hear her, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
she may be like, wow, like actually saying down the line, like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Because it seems like there's a part of the conversation that we're missing. There's like a bit of context that we're missing.
Yeah,
is her
your
mouth
mom's a waffle?
moving between those, or
huh?
Like, does she have like her cam up anywhere in the picture? No. Oh, okay.
No, not at all.
Yeah, like maybe she called him a dick waffle or
no
something.
Team communication. Come on, guys.
Because of you.
Communication. If we're gonna pull this one through.
Team is the key.
Anyone
He's
else
like-
mute the skunk? Anyone else mute Mercy? Head to mute her.
Okay,
She is talking.
okay,
I
yeah.
heard her
I think
voice
she is
there.
talking.
Yeah.
I didn't hear her voice though.
Well, because she's the one recording this,
right?
And he said that he muted her. So even if she was talking, he can't hear her. So he's not communicating with her.
Well, now
he had to mute her.
I think that's what he just said. I think she's. If I have to guess the context for this, I think that that we're not hearing her. That we're not able to hear her.
Could be possible.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, I don't like little dudes on this game.
Yeah, she's clearly a young male.
Yeah, I hate
Hell
that.
yeah.
Oh, good.
Just in case anyone was curious
Oh.
what sexual harassment
Are you a
was
guy?
like, that's it.
Okay, never mind. No, you can hear.
That's
Okay,
all right.
so that's the first time that she said anything.
All right. Well, hang on. Let's. There seemed like
something happened there.
Some bit
She
of.
said something like, "If anyone's wondering what sexual harassment sounds like, that was it."
Yeah.
If anyone was curious what sexual harassment
Are you a
was
guy?
like, that's it.
Yeah.
There, he's having his first orgasm because he heard a female voice.
Trust me, we sexually harassed her, bro.
Oh yeah, I forgot gender is.
And a vagina.
Oh my god, yeah, he sounds like your Garlean.
Dude, like this is really hard to listen to.
Yeah.
This is really hard to listen
Yeah.
to and because again, we're sitting here doing a talk show about video games. There's no way to kind of distance. This is the
These
community.
people exist.
This is the community that we have built.
That we are in, yeah.
Not us as Final Encountercast, but us as video game enthusiasts.
Yeah.
This is what we have built for ourselves. We have built a pile of shit.
I mentioned earlier that these videos are a dime a dozen. I'm going to take that back because the ones that I watch are usually just dudes like yelling insults at each other. Like this is something completely different.
Basically just raped her.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, that was an awesome unpause. Well done, sir.
Let's back that up.
Oh yeah, I forgot gender assuming is it.
Basically just raped her.
Dude, no, she's gonna record this. Watch out.
Chill, bro, chill.
Too late.
Called it.
I can't hear
I'm gonna get reported to the police for calling her a dude on the internet.
That's
Yours is the internet.
No. I'll tell you what happens. Let's game this out, okay? It's what's happening right the fuck now.
Yeah. Podcasts start picking up on this shit and calling you an asshole.
That's right. And there's like a good 50-50 shot right now that you're going to be called out on a national radio show. You human pile of excrement.
Oh, can we do that on Checkpoint?
I
think we should.
I don't know how to air this. I don't know how to give proper context to being able to call this
We'll have
guy.
to take select
and
quotes.
The other thing is that like I don't know the words that I could find that would be FCC friendly to call this guy what he is, which is a fucking pile of pieces of shit that are pasted together that reasonably they resemble some kind of human being.
Oh.
That's
Oogie
all
Boogie
you are.
Made out of shit. That's what he is.
yeah.
If you ever seen that Dogma movie, you remember
I remember Dogma.
the shit monster, right?
Oh, yeah.
That comes out in the middle of the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what this guy is, right? Like if you could take all of the negative aspects of humanity and roll them into one person, that's what this is. That's the kind of shit that that it breeds. This is the kind of ignorance. You can see it right here. You fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
The fact that
that's the consequence.
That in his head, he like somehow makes the connection. Oh, the police gonna go after me for calling you a boy? Like, really? That's what you picked out of that whole lineup?
How about the rape comment?
That means to him, calling her a boy is more of a slight than the rape comments?
Yeah, that was the big thing that you said that was wrong. Ass.
Police aren't gonna come after you, dude.
No, not for anything you ever say like that.
Police aren't gonna come after you. You know who is? Us.
Rendos in the chat says, I love how this went from this kind of an overreaction to, oh my god, Jesus, what the fuck? You're right. That escalated quickly, man.
Sure did. About 3 minutes into that video,
I was prepared to go another way, to say that this is an overreaction, and to say that, look, you can't mistake shit talking for sexist, misogynist bullshit.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I kept that I just kept that video playing. That we didn't jump around in the timeline to figure out, like, have to figure out how did we get here.
Well, we probably would have went back anyway and been like, oh,
exactly.
That's how it jumped pretty quick. There was no build up.
That is ugly, ugly. And guess what? It's an ugly sentiment from you, the person that originates from. That's not funny shit talking. That's not. Hey, I'm better than you. That's not, dude. That's not.
Well, they're on the same team too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And here's my thing: if that's the first time she talked, like, how did they single her out? Like for what reason?
Hey guys, how we going? Hey guys, I'll play Mercy. Someone be tank.
Dude, that whole thing started with her being like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And them all being like, "Grill, Ermiger, grill."
Yeah.
Like that's where that started.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's disgusting. It is disgusting. And you know, people wonder why we waste time talking about something like this. It's because right now, as you're listening to this, I can guarantee you that there is a 13-year-old or a 16-year-old somewhere listening to the show who's a big fan of the dumb shit that we do, right? Who's a big fan of all of the offensive bits that we do, that is hearing this and reflecting on his own actions and the way that he acts when he sits down and plays a game.
Yeah.
That's why we're talking about it. That's why it's worth talking about. If you can get even one person to sit back and analyze the way that they're behaving and the effect that has on someone else and the effect that it has on gaming in a macro sense, in a big picture sense, it does not make gamers look terribly good.
Yeah, and here's the issue: is everyone out there listening right now, that's your people. You can say like, no, he doesn't represent us. Well, here's the unfortunate truth: he's part of the gaming community, and so it's on us to kind of, when you see shit like that, call each other out, report it, call each other out, and don't. If someone's making comments like that, tell them to stop being a fucking asshole.
Absolutely. And it has nothing to do with identity politics either, right?
Nope.
It has nothing to do with identity politics because right is right and wrong is wrong. And telling someone that you're going to rape them is fucking wrong. Doesn't matter. That's not a gender thing. That's not a race thing. It doesn't fucking matter. And when something's wrong, you take the opportunity to call that shit out. You take the opportunity to speak about it. And it doesn't matter what my race is. It doesn't matter what my gender is. I'm going to call out bullshit where I see it.
Bullshit.
And this is fucking bullshit. Fuck this guy.
Yeah, I wish there was a way
that this team
that we could single him out more, because unfortunately, whatever his name in the game is, that doesn't even necessarily equate to anything. Different people can have the same
name.
Nyla says, so we have to purge him. No, you got to fucking educate him.
Yeah.
You got to sit him down and you got to go, look at what the fuck look what you did.
Yeah, take a moment to actually think about the words that just came out of your mouth.
Absolutely.
Like, ew. It's disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that is just, again, and this is not being done for an audience or for entertainment. You heard someone go, "Hey guys, knock it off. She's probably going to record you."
Yeah, exactly.
She absolutely is.
And she is.
But that's the thing, is that this is the way that people act when they think they're never going to be held accountable for their actions.
And what's even sadder than this...
And it's disgusting because that's genuine, right? Like, if you have a construction, like a show or a personality, like, I get really worked up about shit. I get really angry about stuff. I get really salty about stuff. We were talking earlier in the week on Checkpoint Radio about the World of Tanks guy, Sir Fox, who gets all worked up and who gets all salty, and what they've done to silence his criticism, and then you like you go, that's a fucking character. Like, that's a character construction. All I'm doing is taking Howard Stern or Alex Jones or whoever is blowing up in terms of numbers and going, well, you can do that for video games. Like, there's the same way that you can energize people or attract them to your product, but just talk about video games because there's billions of dollars in this industry.
Yeah, and for anyone
it is, like, part of it is a calculated decision on my part, and it's a bit cynical, and there's a character construction there, but there is fuck it, dude. I think a lot about the consequences of the shit that I say, and I think the most offensive thing that I think I've maybe ever said on this program was that I didn't give a shit when Iwata died, and I had a point behind that, and that is death tributes on the internet are fucking stupid, and they are self-serving, and they don't do anything. I mean, we just saw this with Chris fucking Cornell. They don't do anything. I understand people are hurting. I understand that people made a connection with that person's art, but fucking death tributes, going onto Facebook and telling other people what he meant to you after he died does no fucking good. It doesn't change the outcome of what happened. It might help you deal with some of your emotions. That's fine if that's what you need. But you know what? I think that that's self-serving and that's selfish. And every time I see it, I think that person is selfish for doing it. That was my point. And I had a very cogent, specific point that I was trying to make. And yes, I was an asshole when just delivering that point on purpose. On purpose, because I had a point. This is not making a point. This is not a performance. This is not someone who is like, yeah, I'm going to say something about the state of sexism by talking unbelievable shit to my Overwatch team, right? That's not a commentary on anything. That's you being a shitbag and someone catching you being a shitbag. Now admit that you're a fucking shitbag, and let's everyone try to move on past this and stop perpetuating this kind of behavior, because it's fucking embarrassing.
Yeah, to go beyond that too, you mentioned perpetuating the behavior. I've seen this popping around a few places, different Facebook groups and whatnot, and a lot of the comments, like as I'm reading them, are just as bad as the video. A lot of people are being like, "Oh, it's just shit talking." Oh, you can't.
This is identity politics, and it's good. She's a woman. She's making herself a victim. Yep. No, fuck that.
If you can't take the fire, get out.
Fuck you. If that's your opinion, fuck off. Go fuck off to the 4chan or whatever, like whatever hole of the internet that you reside in, and just go back to your fucking bubble. If you don't want to actually genuinely have the discussion, go talk about it with your shitty friends inside your shitty bubble so that they can be the big echo chamber that you need to feel good about yourself, you fucking piece of garbage. That's the other thing that I'm getting sick of, is the responses from people on social media, where every time something like this happens, they out come the fucking MAGA hats, and the only opinion and the only fucking opinion that they have, the only political opinion that they hold is SJWs are bad. That's it. That's the only. If that's your only fucking political opinion, you know what? I can't listen to you anymore, and I don't think other people should either. It's not trying to discount your opinion. It's that your opinion sucks and you're arguing a fantasy. You're arguing unreality. And I don't want to have that fucking argument anymore. Yeah. How do you justify? What kind of fucking backflips do you have to justify to make, oh, I'm going to rape you, or I love America because they're good at rape? How does that make any of that acceptable? What justification can you give me? You utter human trash pile. And we let people call the show. God damn it, I wish this guy was just listening on the off chance and heard himself on this video and was like, I want to defend this.
Oh yeah, that'd happen.
It never would.
No.
But this is embarrassing. As someone who loves video games, this is fucking embarrassing, and it's embarrassing because this is the norm. Because I heard this, the first time I heard this, I went, yeah, this is...
Sounds about right.
Even the most extreme shit, I was like, yeah, I've heard that kind of shit before. And it's contingent on all of us to call it out. Not just call it out in the group chats, but call it out on shit like this too. On shit like this show. I mean, this kind of behavior is fucking embarrassing. And I hate that. I hate being embarrassed to be a gamer. Mm-hmm. Fuck. I mean, for me, that's reliving Gamergate.
Oh, good.
To realize that the worst of humanity still exists within our culture. Yeah.
And it does. Our culture harbors some of the absolute worst.
And that they're the vocal minority.
Yeah.
And that they can do really, really tangible damage by just not giving a fuck. God damn it. These people just annoy the shit out of me. And these are the fucking Twitter warriors. These are the armchair warriors that sit back and they let other people do their fighting, and they'll spread the ideas, but they won't actually hit the fucking streets for them.
Yeah.
Fucking embarrassing. Dreadful. I hate seeing this from our community. We're better than this shit. We are so much better than this. We choose to be shitty.
Ugh. I hate that.
I fucking hate it.
Choose to be shitty.
We choose to be shitty.
You're right.
Fucking hate it.
For more information on the news and other stories, you can ask Papa Woody about it because he's filling in at the news desk.
There you go. Papa, we stopped updating the live blog, so we don't need to do that.
You haven't been around for that.
Yeah, so we're actually going to give your phone number out in the chat, and they get to call you if they have any additional questions.
Right, yeah. They're basically going to text you, and what you need to do is text back the URL every time. And I know that we had something like 12 stories and an hour and a half's worth of discussion in there, but, that's your responsibility.
Have fun with that.
On top of refilling drinks, obviously.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I'm
I was going to get it.
Oh, bye, Callie.
Bye.
Just leaves without saying goodbye.
He doesn't even say goodbye to the audience.
Dick. He's just like, Papa's taking my place. Walks off.
Can you get me a towel or something? I'm sweating my balls off here. Anyway, all right. So, thanks, Callie. Bye. Apparently.
Good news.
That was
Mr.
good. That was actually a good, interesting news segment. All right. Something else that we wanted to talk about, as long as we're being depressed today.
Talking about piles of garbage.
And talking about, living piles of human excrement. So,
how are you going to bring us into this one?
This is a. I didn't think about this. This is a really tough
segue.
Segue. That's what I was looking for. So, at Phoenix Comicon, it was this past weekend.
Yep.
There was a guy who, fortunately, was apprehended by police. And they caught him with many rounds of ammo, many knives, and throwing stars, but a lot of weapons, a lot of legit
throwing
weapons.
stars. Yeah. What a weeb.
Genji main.
He came, so Phoenix Comicon, it's just like any other Comic-Con. People come dressed up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And, they're in costume.
They act weeby.
Many of those costumes contain weapons of some kind. And this guy got the brilliant idea to painted his face black. He wore all black, painted his face black.
Red bandana, and to mention the what he had specifically, he had two 45 caliber handguns, a 454 caliber handgun, a 12 gauge shotgun, fully loaded.
With a bandolier of shotgun ammo on his
Yep, and then a combat knife, pepper spray, and throwing stars.
Genji main.
Throwing stars.
Yep. Throwing stars.
Thank you.
Brought him a towel.
Yep.
Full towel.
Yep. But
I'm gonna do my Rick James moment and towel myself off here.
This is very hard work. Talking to a microphone, okay?
He's being very emotional today. Getting all of his, thoughts and opinions out there. It takes a lot out of you.
I'm gonna be the old preacher and just kind of towel myself off here in the middle of the show.
The old preacher?
Yeah, I know what?
You've never seen you've never been to
a service. Okay, when they kind of take out the little handkerchief and they're like,
you've got the reverend and he's all worked up like this and he's just dabbing at the top of his brow.
Yeah, okay, I got you now.
Racist?
No.
I think that was racist.
That wasn't racist.
I don't know. Can you be racist against... Oh, wow. I'm on mute. I didn't even realize my microphone was on mute that whole time.
Well, it's because you were dabbing.
You leave. You get the fuck out right now.
You pull a Callie and walk away without saying anything.
Hey,
well, he did have a reason, though.
Was that a relevant
That
correct?
No,
pop culture reference.
I'm not. I'm not acknowledging that. I will not acknowledge a dab as a current fucking cultural reference.
Give me a second, because this proves something. This proves you've been fucking lazy. Because you can still be a shitty fucking troll that derails while also being timely and relevant. So step up your fucking game.
I just had to admit that he was accurate. God damn it.
So step up your fucking game.
No.
Okay. By the way, I was just doing an impression of a Southern preacher. I don't know why you would inject any race on top of that. But anyway,
Maybe
so
that's racist.
Yeah, no, I think that
You're
that
the
projection
racist one.
Exactly.
No, you're racist. I'm not racist. You're racist. Ha.
Anyway, so yeah, this nut job out at the Phoenix Comicon decided, hey, this is going to be a really good idea to get all armed to the teeth, dress all in black, because of course, people are
they won't be able to see you in broad daylight when you're dressed in black.
I'm going to hide in the shadows.
I think it's a little bit more than that. Like, he just figured he would blend in. Like, people would think that he's just in costume.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Now, the thing that's a little bit disturbing about this story is that he was able to get past several security checkpoints.
Yes, because they did do screenings and like prop checks and weapon checks, but he was actually able to bypass.
But we all know, like all of us who have been to a convention or cosplayed before, that is not like I think that I went 3 days to Youmacon and I never got.
I don't know if Youmacon actually has like an actual procedure to where they say yes, we straight up quote unquote screen people.
Well, they've got the combat ties that most weapons should have. Like in theory, you should have it.
But think about all the entrances.
My airsoft pistol should have had it, but it never did.
Right, but think about all the entrances into the Renaissance Center or into Kobo. Like, at what point is there you have to go through this screening process? I
know. It creates lines, it creates backup, and it's a pain in the ass.
That Phoenix Comicon actually had like actual screen areas that he was able to bypass.
And again, though, I'm not trying to blame Phoenix Comicon, or I'm not trying to assign any responsibility here. But what I'm saying is that I would say that Phoenix Comicon probably had your average security for a convention, right? And if they had your average security, then the fact that he was able to slip past checkpoints is pretty unnerving.
Yeah, and I mean, in the wake of all this, they have said that they are, taking steps to up it even more. On top of the fact that for the weekend, they straight up banned weapons at that point.
Yeah, and I think Alamo City Comic-Con is, I think, this weekend, and they had issued a statement where, because of the security concerns out at the Phoenix Comic-Con, that they were going to also be banning weapons from. And the thing is, and I really do wish we had Nika here, because I think she would add a valuable perspective to this discussion. But we've talked about this before, whether or not full weapon bans are justified or not, and I think that we largely kind of not shouted it down or rejected it out of hand, but I think that we were skeptical of the necessity of it, and I think this story really kind of doubles back on that and goes, no, this is why we need that. Like, it either needs to be very specific attention paid to screenings, the screening process.
And if you can't do that responsibly, you have to.
You have to. And the thing is and I know that there's a lot of cosplayers who would take umbrage to that, right? Like, they would be really frustrated with that, because a big focal point of a lot of costumes is going to be the weapon, naturally. And I think, when you look at a situation like this and you understand what kind of strain that ends up putting the convention under, that are mostly working with volunteers as is, that a good majority of this shit survives on enthusiasm. I look at that and I go, okay, yeah, like, if you can't reasonably up your staff levels, then you have to call a ban.
Yeah, as a safety concern. I mean, this could have, like we look at this and think, oh, this is a scary story, but this could have turned into such a huge tragedy. Apparently, he was specifically targeting Jason David Frank. Yes, the Green Ranger. He had some type of revenge vendetta against him. In his phone, they found a reminder date, killed JDF.
What?
Yeah.
What does he think? He's Calendar Man from Batman or something?
You fucking low rent. God damn it.
He put a cell phone reminder, like, oh, this is the day it's happening. Can't forget.
Are you really that busy that's like you might forget? Like, oh, what?
The only reason that they caught him is he was in communication with some lady on Facebook, basically updating her about where he was, what he was doing, and she was the one I think that got in contact with the authorities because he was also saying stuff like there's a lot of police here. I'm gonna get a shootout with police. I wonder how many people I'm gonna take out. He was trying to
kill he was trying to kill Jason David Frank.
Yeah,
the fucking absolute. Poor excuse for a fucking killer.
Okay, to be fair, Rita probably still has some kind of control over him, and he's just a mole for the Power Rangers. Okay.
Now, when he was arrested in question, he claimed to be the Punisher.
Fucking low rent Mark David Chapman motherfucker. You. What the fuck? Have you seen this guy? Have you seen the pictures of this guy? What a fat motherfucker he is. How the fuck was he gonna kill anyone?
He's got
weapons.
He's got the beard growing on only his neck, all Joe Dirtish. Like he's a disturbing
neck.
guy.
I sort of feel like neck beard is an overused insult, but he had more neck than beard.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah,
most people do. Though.
I don't. But again, this would have been like a fucking mall cop trying to kill somebody. And by the way, Jason David Frank is in incredible shape, right? Like I'm pretty sure that this guy would have tried to throw one of these throwing stars. It would have gone absolutely nowhere, right?
Hit himself in the foot.
Yeah, or I'm sure that he would have tried to do it at a panel, so it probably would have ended up sticking out of the some guy's arm, and he would have gotten he would have thrown the first one, been out of breath trying to figure out how to get the gun out, and Jason David Frank would have leapt over the table and beat the living Christ out of him. That's what I would have loved to see. Like if that had played out, like if police hadn't gotten involved, and thank God no one was hurt.
Yeah, they were able to track him down before he got anywhere near Jason's David Frank. He was up on
who fucking realized, like the thing is, and this is the thing that I think I'm a little bit disturbed by, who made the realization that he was carrying real weapons and alerted the authorities? Because if I had seen him, right, I would have done what I think 99% of everyone else did, and what he was counting on everyone to do is go, oh, well, that dude's just in costume, fuck it, and just overlook him.
Well, like I said, I believe that the person that he was in contact with got a hold of authorities. They were able to track him down.
Oh, so it was someone like that knew that this guy was off.
Yeah, like all day he had been sending them messages on
Thank
Facebook.
Fucking God.
Right, like how often does a tragedy happen, and then afterwards they find all this evidence, and it's like, I wish somebody would have said something. I thought that he was just kidding. I didn't think he actually, would go through with something like this.
Right.
Yeah.
He showed me the notebooks like 3 times, and I mean, like every time they got more detailed, but I just thought it was like a fun, role-playing thing that he was doing.
So again, he had mentioned, or he had claimed that he was the Punisher, and that it wasn't, he was hoping to get...
Oh my God!
Hold on. He was hoping...
Oh no!
He was hoping to get into...
This gets so much worse!
A big standoff with the police, and he actually claimed that he knows the difference between police that are corrupt and people who aren't. Like he can spot them. Like he can look at you and tell if you're a good police or a bad police.
That is the Punisher's superpower.
I think even the Punisher actually looks for evidence. Like he has to see. Okay, you're
he's
a
not
criminal.
Batman. Okay, he's not a detective. He's a Punisher. He punishes people.
You fat piece of shit.
Yep.
He actually thought he was going to do something. The fact that he thought he was going to do something.
Gets better. It
can't. Robbie, stop. Stop. It can't.
It does.
It does. No.
It does.
I
calm yourself. Calm yourself.
I refuse to believe this.
Breathe. He claims 15 years earlier he stabbed Jason David Frank, and he was coming back to finish the job. That event never happened. He never stabbed Jason David Frank. He's never met Jason David Frank. If you stab Jason David Frank and you don't finish the job, he puts you in the hospital, okay?
What the hell is going on?
So he has created in his head a world where he stabbed the Green Ranger, was foiled, somehow didn't go to jail or something, and now 15 years later he's coming back to exact his revenge.
Well, you don't put the Punisher in jail.
You know who I feel bad for? Jason David Frank, because he's got to be sitting there going, what? Like on if you're Jason David Frank, right, and you're at Phoenix Comicon, right, you're going to talk about your experience being the Green Ranger.
Someone comes up to
you're collecting a paycheck, right, and then you hear about this this armed guy that they take down. You know, oh shit, that's crazy, right? Like, and then like, and maybe you even see him, right? Like maybe you even see who the guy is, and you're like, wow, that guy must be really fucking crazy. You have no attachment to the person whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then later, you find out, like maybe an hour later, maybe 2 hours later, that he was there to kill you, and that he thought that he had stabbed you 15 years earlier. Like the mind fuck that must go on in that moment where you're like, did I get stabbed 15 years ago? I don't remember getting stabbed 15 years ago.
Chris got stabbed a few years ago.
Who is this guy? I've never seen before in my life. Why the fuck was he trying to kill me of all people? I haven't done anything relevant since I beat the shit out of Screech. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? What
Jason David Frank?
What the fuck did I do? Like, that would have been my reaction. Like, I don't think I'd leave the house anymore.
Look, there are a lot of people like I don't want to say washed up or has been celebrities, but there's a lot of celebrities that go to these type of stuff. And look, not every celebrity out there is a good person. Some of them are douchebags, but they're doing it to collect checks, right?
Sure.
So I feel like there could have been some celebrities.
JDF is not that, by the way.
Right. No, not at all. Yeah, he's a fucking national treasure.
Dude,
as far as I'm concerned.
I got to meet that guy down at Alamo City last year. I did,
didn't you?
I got to ride a shuttle with him, and he's a fucking.
You didn't tell me that.
You rode his shuttle?
He is a nice guy. Like just a genuine, like nice guy.
Yeah.
He was asking questions to me and Jen.
Like look, if Tom Cruise,
so cool.
If Tom Cruise was at a Comic-Con for like The Mummy, and it's like, oh yeah, someone tried to kill Tom Cruise. I get it. he comes off as a dick. I've heard a lot of dickish things about him, right? It's terrible.
Scientologist.
I hope it doesn't help, but I get it.
Honestly, if Tom Cruise gets murdered at this point, it is going to be the Church of Scientology that does it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But Jason David Frank, like, come on.
He's never hurt. Well, again, he hurt Screech, but everyone was okay with that. Like,
wait, what?
He did the celebrity boxing match. It was him and Dustin Diamond.
Okay.
And I don't even remember how that had come up, but he
How
just
is that even
whooped
fair?
the fucking shit out of Dustin Diamond.
Who put Screech up against the Green Ranger?
Am I right on that? Chat room, correct me if I'm wrong on that.
You punch like somebody who isn't American.
I might be misremembering.
Like, unless the way that was determined was pulling names out of a hat, like who would have thought like Screech versus Tommy Oliver's a fair fight?
No, because I think Dustin Diamond was shit talking Jason David Frank.
Why would you do that?
He's delusional.
Well, let's bring this full circle all the way back around to stabbing. I mean, Screech has some anger issues. He stabbed a guy at a bar in Colorado. And that is an actual court case. That is I think I don't know if he went to jail or not, but like that is true. He did stab someone.
Under what circumstances would any of you go into a ring against Jason David Frank?
Oh, none. But I would against
give me a
Dustin Diamond.
Okay, so if I offered you like $1 million, pops, you'd go in there and give it your best.
$1 million, yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough then. I guess.
I mean,
like money.
Honestly, I would go in a ring against Dustin Diamond because, like, what are you going to lose? Like, you're not.
Pride?
No. What is he gonna? What you think he's gonna?
Screech is gonna lower your defense by 2 stages, buddy.
That's a Pokemon reference.
I know.
Popular reference and pop.
He did it again.
God damn it!
You don't want to go to war with me.
You're right, but I don't want you to be. I don't want you to be. No, Dustin Diamond is a fucking idiot.
Wow.
But let's get back to talking about this other fat moron that decided that he wanted to try to kill Jason David Frank. Like, honestly, like if you're gonna do some Mark David Chapman shit, like, why would your target be the Green Ranger? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, you're good. Like, he's talking about like, I'm gonna kill cops after this, and like, dude, if that's your hill that you're gonna die on, why Jason David Frank?
Look, I realize this dude is delusional. He probably has some mental issues. But even crazy people, there's a method to what's going on in their head. And I'd like to know, why the Green Ranger? Why the Green fucking Ranger?
Well,
did he stop watching before he became the White Ranger? And as the Punisher, he's like, he has destroyed and compromised the sanctity of the Power Rangers. And in Zordon's name, he must die?
I mean,
20 years after the fact.
He does look like the kind of guy that would do that. I mean,
someone needs to point out, like, he had a redemption arc, bro. He's okay.
Maybe he's confused with the Green Arrow, who needs to die because he has killed people before.
But it's so irrelevant. At least look, Mark David Chapman is a pathetic human being who, if you don't know, he's the guy who shot and killed John Lennon. But he actually, he picked a target that people really still, like, a lot of people would give a shit about. Like, I'm not saying that if Jason David Frank got killed at a convention, that it would not be a tragedy. It absolutely would be a tragedy. But, like, again, if that's your hill that you're gonna die on, that's like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, you're not gonna get the same news cycle out of Jason David Frank as you are
Tom Cruise.
My brain immediately went to Ariana Grande, and that's just not appropriate. That's just that's not okay.
Biden, let's use Biden because everyone loves Biden.
At least that's like a relevant target,
right? Yeah.
Like fucking A, dude. This fucking week has been so depressing. What a piece of shit.
It really has, man. E3's next week.
I know.
Or not next week,
in a couple of weeks,
but in a couple of weeks, man. The E3 news cycle, I hope it's uplifting. They better not. They really need to announce an actual FF8 remake, because then I would be hype on that.
Yes, idiot.
So, like, I guess my question is, like, how do conventions reasonably respond to this? Because it seemed to be that, like, everyone was kind of operating on this, like, don't be a dick, like, don't ruin this for everyone sort of thing. And here comes
some guy who ruins it for everyone.
Yeah, here comes the fat version of Columbine, and now it ruins it for everyone.
Yeah,
like literally, this is going to ruin it for everyone. Like cosplay,
every
costuming,
major Comic-Con has to respond to this.
There's no way that you don't.
Yeah, and here's the thing: look at all the different places that you have conventions. There's always multiple entrances. So even if you have a designated entrance to where I don't care how long the lines are, you're checking every single prop going in, there's always going to be another entrance somewhere to get in, because these conventions, these centers aren't solely for the convention. There's always other stuff going on. We brought up the Renaissance Center during Youmacon. There's so many ways in there. You cannot have a perfect system.
No,
you can't.
You can't guarantee everyone's safety. And if that's the case, then you gotta pull the plug on it. And I sympathize with it, and I understand what the decision that the conventions are having to make right now. But I mean, like, again, it's one motherfucker that ruined it for everyone. For everyone.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you in 2017 and in 2018, there's not going to be a convention that's not affected by this.
Yeah, well, I mean, you said Alamo City alone has already responded, right?
Yeah.
Weapon ban, I assume?
Yeah.
Just straight up. Yeah. And you mentioned, before how some cosplayers, the weapon sometimes isn't just the centerpiece. I mean, I saw someone who, I don't know, I can't even imagine how much money they spent on it, but they basically turned Zarya's particle accelerator cannon from Overwatch, like this giant thing. Like, it looked like they took it right out of the game, had the lights and everything in there. Like, that's the cosplay at that point.
But again, this has been an abstract security concern that people have been like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and they're right. Like, that's the thing, is that they've always been right. But all of us, on the other side have been like, oh, we're still a small community, we're still growing. I don't think, that's an overreaction. It's going to ruin some people's enthusiasm for the hobby.
Remember, 2 years ago when we went to Youmacon, like 2 days before, they're like, weapons ban. Right? And remember the reaction that we had to it. I don't think anybody really followed it, but our reaction was even like, you can't do that. Like, even though we understood the merits of it, it's like, you can't do that. You can't enforce that. And now that this has happened, we're just like...
I'm like, fuck it, do it. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Like, how is there any other choice?
There isn't. Unless you want Comic-Cons to start being known for being unsafe environments. And you can't do that. That's a family environment. For as much as we as adults want to claim the space, I'm sorry. Comic conventions and all of these different conventions, they're a family event. Straight up. Like, fine, whatever. After hours, your hentai weird bullshit goes on. I get it. But, like, fucking, it is at its
trick
core.
Room shuckle fucks.
At its core, like, it's still got to remain a family event, because you need to sell tickets, like you need to sell passes. If you start seeing attendance start to go down, then this whole cottage industry that has been built out of cosplay and in conventions and the large scale marketability of all these things, that whole house of cards falls. All of it.
Well, in the chat, Oshihidra says that this was Comic-Con before. Those have always been huge. The whole small community thing is more akin to animes, but I mean. That's still what we're pointing out, is that it happened at a Comic-Con. Had this happened at a smaller anime, would have been a big deal. Maybe not as much of a wide-ranging effect, but the fact that it happened at a Comic-Con, Alamo City is already following suit. The big question is going to be what happens at, a New York Comic-Con or San Diego. Those are absolutely going to set the precedent, and in this case, chances are that even smaller ones, like anime conventions, will then follow suit.
Absolutely. And I guarantee you that there are people who are, maybe they haven't gotten into cosplay, maybe they're only just getting into cosplay. They're going to look at all of the restrictions surrounding this and go, well, what the fuck's the point? I can't even. If I want to do Nathan Drake, that's two pistols that I want to have, on the shoulder holsters.
Yeah. What if you want to do Lara Croft without your pistols? You're just a girl with big boobs.
That's still fine.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not.
On top of this, though, we talk about the kind of impact that it has, with conventions being family spaces. This headline alone, when it comes to, let's say, parents who aren't as plugged in, but their kids are. Yeah. This headline alone, I can tell you right now, there are hundreds of kids out there that now. They're never going to another convention.
Think of the age of 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, where your parents are still making a lot of your decisions for you. They're going to react to something like this, and you don't have the autonomy in your life, or you don't have a driver's license, and so I think it would be really sad and detrimental to the way that the convention scene has evolved in the last couple of years if conventions started becoming like rock concerts where parents didn't want their kids going and their kids would have to sneak out or find ways to do it, right? You don't want that. I don't think, nobody wants that kind of situation. And so, again, this is the kind of shit that just ruins it for fucking everyone.
Yeah. God, what a depressing episode.
Ugh.
Boy, I picked a good one to come back.
Yeah, I know, right?
God, damn it, Pops.
Welcome back.
Why so serious?
Because there's a lot of serious shit going on.
Was there any happy stuff that happened this week?
I don't think there is.
Even the new Overwatch event has low legendary loot drops. People are complaining about it, and even the developers yeah.
We read your comments.
Adventure Week was kind of cool.
It's over now, though.
I know.
You didn't finish your Larvitar.
I'm 2 candies away. 3 candies. 3 candies.
That's 15 kilometers.
I know. That's fine. I'll get it. I'll get it eventually. I'm not that worried about it.
27 miles in Niantic's conversion ratio.
Actually, fuck, you're kind of right. You're actually...
When you are less than a kilometer from your last candy, a Larvitar is going to pop.
I guarantee you. No, it's not... No, a Tyranitar is going to pop. A Tyranitar is going to pop. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a Pupitar. It's going to be straight up Larvitar. And it's going to be really high CP with shit IVs. Because that's what happens every fucking time.
Yep. Have a good move set for once.
Yeah, good move set, shit IVs. That happens to me a lot. Good IVs, shit move set.
It makes me feel a little bit better that you live in Safari Zone and I don't, knowing that you get shit.
You really still care that much about Pokemon Go?
Well, not at this point, because Safari Zone's kind of shitty anyway. It's dying.
It's the shit-fari zone.
Yeah.
Because it's shit.
Anyway.
In the zone.
How do we end an episode like this?
I don't know. Sorry? Sorry?
Obviously.
Don't mean to bum you out.
Wait, I have an idea.
What?
What if, right, to sort of, cleanse our palate and get us all hyped and, really going strong, you sing a Kesha song for us?
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
Why?
Because.
Can I do it naked?
That's why. Because I'd have to keep my pants on.
You sing, he dances naked behind you.
Ugh. I can't think of anything more unappealing on to the senses than that is.
Your voice is the vision of his body. At least they don't have to smell it.
You know what, people enjoy listening to me talk, and I'm really okay with it.
Do the Timber song.
No.
Why?
Because that wasn't even the right song. I can't even think of what the name of the song is.
All the Timber Ladies. All the Timber Ladies.
And we're back.
Circle.
Was it what is that? My Love is a Drug? Was it that one?
No, it wasn't that one.
What's the one that starts where she's talking about P. Diddy?
How do you know this much of Kesha's catalog?
Well, because Kookie had mentioned that line earlier when you were talking about it. She had mentioned the P. Diddy line.
No, it was a remix of one of her songs because it was
on the radio.
No, SoundCloud on shuffle was what I was listening to. So anyway, all right. So thanks for joining us today.
Sorry, I don't know why you did.
Sorry to bum you out. If you enjoy the show, hit the follow button. very little follows today, but if you like the show, hit the follow button. We're not normally this negative. Maybe actually
within 48 seconds, he sucked all the fun out of the.
You know what? Maybe I can't actually say that. Maybe this is kind of par for the course for us.
Come back for E3 week. We're gonna be way better. I promise.
Are we gonna be here for E3 week? I mean, because I kind of feel like we should,
We're not gonna have time to program the show.
Like this, the weekend that E3 starts, because like those presentations start on a Sunday.
Yeah,
I sort of feel like instead of doing our normal FEC LBR, that we kind of do what we did last year,
like the 11th live callings of it or whatever.
No. Well, just restream it live with our commentary.
Yeah, that sounds good. The following week, though, we get back Friday at 1 a.m.
Yeah,
and me and
shit. That means that week's show it'll be on fucking Juxta and Nika to program.
That's not happening. I guarantee you, that's not happening.
Wait, we've got a after E3.
We've got a kookie.
Yeah,
it may happen.
That's gonna be okay. That's gonna be during Stormblood release. You don't think we can just fucking wing it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
I know we say just wing it every single time, but literally Stormblood, we can wing it.
But early access starts like the day
we get there.
The day we get back.
Yeah. All right. Fair. So the 11th you said is the Sunday before E3.
Yes.
So that day we won't be doing our normal shows. Instead, we'll just we're gonna live stream.
Yeah, we're gonna rebroadcast what the big announcements from E3 are, and then because we leave Tuesday, right?
Yes, we do.
Fly out Tuesday.
6 a.m.
Wow, phoning it in.
Do you work Monday?
I don't know yet. I'll know on Monday.
Because I think I think if you guys just stayed here and then we just started collecting audio samples that we want to use while we're out there,
it would probably be better to come down on Monday. That way I don't have to drive
exactly
and then 4 a.m. on Tuesday,
and then on Sunday and Monday we're just so tightly focused in on all of what's going on. So we're gonna figure it out. We're not entirely sure. We can also probably pull off some kind of limit break radio since we're bearing down on Heaven's Word on that point.
Yes, I think we are flying United because it's cheap right now.
Sorry, Stormblood. Sorry, I don't remember. We didn't book it. Our producer booked it.
We didn't book it. But if it was cheapest, then that's what we're on.
That's right. So yeah, we're gonna figure it out. But obviously with E3 2017 in the mix, the next couple of weeks of shows are they're gonna be a little bit weird. So I'm gonna thank you guys for your patience. Last year's E3 coverage is obviously gonna be different from this year's. We're not, our priority in going out to E3 is going to be collecting materials for Checkpoint, but I know, based on what Kookie brought us last year, we'll have way more than just what we have prepped for Checkpoint.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance we may try to do some kind of final encounter cast from the E3 floor. I don't know though. I don't know. And obviously the group construction would be more closer to Checkpoint. I don't know what we're gonna do. We're thinking about it, but we're definitely collecting material for Final Encounter Cast and for Limit Break Radio out there, since Square Enix is going to be out with their. I think they're bringing Susano.
They are
out there to E3, so that'll be exciting. I think there's definitely going to be no shortage of shit for us to do in those couple of days.
There better not be fucking Win T-shirts there.
I hope there is.
I bet there is.
There better not be.
I bet there is.
There better not be.
I bet there is.
Square Enix.
So help him if there's Win T-shirts.
Yeah,
we are gonna lord those over him so much.
Don't want to go to war with me.
Win T-shirts or riot. Okay.
Win T-shirts or riot.
Well, we will start a riot at E3 and descend down upon the Square Enix booth. We're already considering it.
It'll look just like the Days Gone trailer.
kidding.
Oh, hold on.
Oh my God.
What makes you
But with only like 6 or 7 people.
What makes you think that after today's show, Square Enix will let you anywhere near their booth at E3?
Oh, you think
we're going incognito?
You think that there's going to be a security warning out for me, like there should have been for this fat idiot in Phoenix?
All we have to do is put a State of the Realm T-shirt on him, and they will welcome him with open arms. By the time they realize it, it'll be too late.
It's funny because it's true. Anyway, all right, that's going to do it here for Final Encountercast. Of course, I want to thank everyone watching right now, all 165 of you. If you enjoy the show, make sure that you hit up finalencountercast.com and subscribe. Leave a review of the show. Also, if you get a chance, check out checkpointradio.com. It's the new show that we've been doing, kind of on, this show led to the opportunity of that show. And if you like what we do, it's sort of an extension of the brand. So we've got the Checkpoint podcast that's available over at checkpointradio.com. We've got full episodes on demand. The next episode, the one that aired would have been over this weekend, is going to be available on demand as of Tuesday, or you can just stick around right here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio, because after Limit Break Radio wraps up, we'll be live streaming it here on the channel. So again, please check out Checkpoint Radio. If you have a chance, leave a review on iTunes, because here's the thing, like, we have been given a really cool opportunity here with Checkpoint that no one else has ever been given. Like, straight up, like, this is a unique opportunity that really could only have happened because we've spent 10 years honing our skills with you guys, talking about Final Fantasy 11 or 14 or video games or whatever, and it comes together in a confluence of situations that esports has so much money, video games has so much money, and people have been able to monetize that so well on their own that now
we want some money.
Well, no, but mainstream media is waking up to that fact, and it's something that I've been saying for a long time. I have been, in the background, while I may not do a whole lot at your average radio station. Board Op is not the most responsible. We're not given the most responsibility for stuff.
Short.
I'm a social media manager now, and it's a bit of a. It was a more hours and not more pay, but. Anyway, so my influence is fairly limited in the world of actual broadcasting, and I have been a champion for the idea that video games as discussion point and topic on the radio need to be given more credibility and validity. Even going back to the days where I was at NPR and I would hear morning edition stories that would go over the air that would talk about video games as if the person was on the other side of an aquarium. They couldn't tangibly interact or comprehend the thing that they were talking about. And I thought that was a really big oversight, because I've known for so long, just by interacting with you guys and making content for this community, that the willingness to want to listen or interact with or watch content that is centric to video gaming is there. The desire is there. And there are companies that want to market their products to you. Red Bull, for example, totally harmless. If you heard a Red Bull ad on this show, would you be that surprised? Would you be that turned off by it? Probably not, because it's a fine product that, mostly we don't give a shit about, that they really want to ingratiate themselves with gamers. So this is a confluence of very specific factors that have lined up, very specific variables that have lined up to allow us to do this. And really, the opportunity is to keep gaming as a discussion topic on the radio valid. That's what we're looking to do.
Yep.
Right? The success or failure of the show is as much on us as it is with everyone else. But the thing that I never want to see, or that I don't ever want to go back on, is this show didn't succeed because it just didn't find the people who loved the content. I know that everyone is out there, and I know that that you're willing to find it and you're willing to coalesce around it. So what I'm asking you to do do is I'm just asking you to share Checkpoint. Like, I'm just asking you to share it with your friends and share it with the people that you talk video games about, and let them decide whether they like the show or whether they agree with the opinions on it, but just share it with them. And you can do that in a couple of ways. You can send it out directly to people. You can share it on your Facebook page. You can tell people about it in person, or you can go to iTunes and write a review, which helps our feed get associated with other shows, and helps really just get the ball rolling and get the word out there in an organic way that Checkpoint is something that is unique. It's not just a podcast. It's not just a radio show. It's an opportunity for us to kind of grow with video games, the way that culturally they've been growing, and be able to take conversations to the next level. That's really what we want to do. And we do dumb shit. We want to make you laugh too. But we do recognize how unique and how how much of an opportunity this is. And so we want to encourage anyone that may be a fan of this show to also go check it out, to also get engaged with that show, and to help us grow it a little bit. And again, that starts with you, spreading it around, sharing it with people, and telling your friends, getting them involved. So again, that all happens over at checkpointradio.com. If you like this show, finalencountercast.com, subscribe, do all the fun stuff, and join us here live at 1 p.m. All right, that's going to do it here for Final Encountercast. That's what show we're on. I talked so much about Checkpoint that I almost said Checkpoint.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us for Checkpoint. Limit Break Radio is coming up next if you're listening on the podcast. Limit Break Radio comes out on Tuesdays, where Final Encountercast comes out on Mondays. And coming up next, live on Twitch in about an hour, we're going to be live with Limit Break Radio. We want to get your calls in surrounding your reactions to Live Letter 35.
Line them up.
Line them up. Get them ready. All right, that's going to do it here for Final Encountercast. I want to thank my crew. Papa Woody making a surprise return in the background. Yeah. No, not in the background. He's on a mic. And also Kooky Persona, who has been taking care of our phone lines. Shout out to Skuro for all he does on YouTube. And I want to thank my crew, Callie, even though he was out sick, Nika, even though she was out sick, as well as Robbie and Fat. My name's Nate. Have a good one. Final Encountercast is a production of finalencountercast.com, Limit Break Radio, and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Kooky Persona and Callie Sloan. This show is made possible by the generous Patreon donors of the podcast Limit Break Radio. Opening music provided by Keyboard Kid. More info and music can be found at keyboardkid206.bandcamp.com. Closing music provided by Sobzy. For more info, visit sobzy.bandcamp.com. Final Encountercast and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.